Hey folks, last night was the third episode of Auditions on Season 2 of the X Factor, and it was a huge improvement over last week. I thought the premiere was a little bit disappointing, but this episode was fantastic. The bad auditions and the fake drama, they were kept to a minimum, and we actually got to see some really good contestants. So I loved it. In addition to hearing the contestants sing, though, we also got to hear Britney Spears sing. Well, it was L.A.Reid's birthday, so she sang happy birthday to him, and you could tell she was really singing because that voice was cracking up. I was sitting here shouting at my TV, "No, no, no, sweetheart, leave that old thing in the studio where it belongs." Don't get me wrong, I love Britney's voice, but only after it's been thoroughly processed. Cowell was missing in action for the Kansas City auditions. The official word is that he was sick, but the word on the street is that he was recovering from plastic surgery. Apparently he had a neck lift to reduce the old turkey waddle. So standing in for him for the first half of the show was Walsh, who is one of the judges on the UK X Factor, and I hope he's a more useful judge on the other side of the pond than he was here, because all he seemed to really know how to say was, "We found ourselves a star." Even for the contestants that weren't really that good, but we didn't have to deal with him very long, so as long as none of the other judges go having plastic surgery mid-season, we should be okay. The first audition of the night was 18-year-old Rizzloe Jones, who wants to be an inspiring rapper, because he said it's not always about big pimping and stacking that paper to the ceiling. Then it isn't really rap, is it? For his audition, he wanted to do some freestyling and let the judges pick the subject so they'd know it's for real. Demi thought marshmallows would be a good topic. L.A.Reid suggested X Factor. Didn't put much thought into that one, did he? Rizzloe accomplished one thing with his audition. He proved to me why goofy white boys are not more popular in rap. I could barely understand a word that he was trying to spit out, but it seemed like the only thing that he could get to rhyme with "you know" is "you know." People that like rap will not like him. People that don't like rap will not like him. The only people he stands a shot at impressing, besides his goofy friends, are people that don't know anything about rap, which apparently includes the X Factor judges. They loved him. L.A. said it was really good. Demi was impressed. Louis said, "I think we found ourselves a pop star." Britney compared him to Vanilla Ice. I think he took that as a compliment. No self-respecting rapper takes a comparison to Vanilla Ice as a compliment. But he got 4 yeses. Next up was 20-year-old CeCe Frey. Capital C-E, capital C-E. Get it right now. CeCe is another one of those annoying girls that completely ruined her chances with the voting public before she ever opened her mouth to sing. Don't these brats know that the cameras are recording backstage too? First up, she sang Unchained Melody, which she said that she had CeCe-fied, and if by CeCe-fying it means that she completely butchered it and made it completely unlistenable, then she was right. It sounded terrible. The judges cut her off and asked her to do another song. She did Ain't No Other Man, and it was better than the first song, but that's only because it couldn't possibly be worse. I did not like it at all. CeCe had said if there's something that she's not perfect at, she will work on it until she's perfect. Then, girl, you got a lot of work to do, because your singing is far from perfect, and anything short of a voice transplant, it probably always will be. Oh, and wipe that leopard off your face. You look like you got a flesh-eating bacteria. For some reason, the judges really liked her. Louis thinks she's ambitious and talented. Britney thinks she has the whole package. L.A. loves her attitude and style, which are actually 2 of her worst qualities. She is very pretty, though. She got 4 yeses. That one's a head-scratcher. Next was 39-year-old Vino, who wants to win the $5 million prize so he can provide stability for his 15-year-old son. But I think it's more likely that he just needs the money, because having tattoos like that all over your face and head kind of makes you unemployable, doesn't it? Britney was grossed out by that head. That was hilarious, the look on her face when he took his hat off. Anyway, he sang Trouble, and it was pretty good, but I thought it was pretty forgettable, too. I think Vino is more likable than his voice is. He sings for the troops, though, and wants to provide for his son, and people just eat that kind of stuff up. L.A. said that he was not prepared to like it, but he did like it. Britney was inspired. Demi and Louis thought there was something unique about his voice. I didn't think there was, but it could also be because I hate that song. Vino got 4 yeses. Next was 19-year-old DeAngelo Wallace, who said that if the judges don't see a star, then they are fools. He said that he could sing Britney's songs better than Britney could sing them, and he's better than Justin Bieber. There is no easier way to annoy L.A.Reid than to talk crap about the Biebs. Doesn't L.A.Reid own Justin Bieber? I don't know. Anyway, DeAngelo sang With You by Chris Brown. The judges got up and walked out in the middle of his audition, and he kept on singing. Well, he thinks they worship the devil, and that's why they got up and left. Then, when it was over, DeAngelo left with a $3,000 microphone and got arrested. They said he was charged with a misdemeanor and released a few hours later. X Factor, if y'all are going to make up bullshit stories, at least make them believable. Theft of a $3,000 microphone would have been a felony in the state of Missouri, and not even in Mayberry are criminals allowed to ride in the front seat of a police car. Next was 37-year-old Tate Stevens. He said that if he wins the $5 million, he's going to have a big-ass party, and everybody's invited, and I'll be right there. After the party, what's left of the $5 million will go straight to his wife, though. That is a true country boy right there. And it's a refreshing answer, too. I get so tired of all these people acting like they'd be holier than thou with the $5 million. Like they buy a modest little car and then use the rest to feed all the hungry children all over the world, and then whatever's left is going to go to find a cure for cancer, when they know good and well they're not going to part with a dime. He sang Anything Goes, and it was really good. The judges and the crowd loved it. Demi said that she loves country music and she loves his voice. Raise your hand if you really believe that Demi Lovato is a big country music fan. Yeah, I didn't believe that either. Louis said, we found ourselves a country star. Britney said that he was her favorite so far, and L.A. said that he's a true country star, so it was 4 yeses. I think he's got a lot of potential. He's really likable, and I think we're going to have a couple of country singers this year, unlike last year. Even though Simon Cowell hates country music, he wants people that are going to do well after the show, and country singers have a better chance of doing well after the show. Next, we go back to San Francisco. Am I the only one that's tired of seeing that old cow palace? Why have they put San Francisco auditions on every single episode? Anyway, good riddance, Louis Walsh. Simon Cowell is back. Next up, we have a boy band called Citizen. I did not think these boys were going to come out of the bathroom long enough to audition. In the mirror, fixing the hair, trying to decide whether to wear the collar up or wear the collar down. I personally think the guy should have wore the collar down. I know I sound like a grandma, but I've always thought having your collar up looked kind of silly. They think it's their time because they said that if you look at the charts right now, half the artists are boy bands. If by half you mean one, then they could be right. Isn't there only like one boy band right now, One Direction? I know there was another one doing pretty good for like 2 weeks, but haven't they kind of finished up by now? I don't know. Anyway, Citizen sang In Vogue's Don't Let Go. Gorgeous guys. Great song choice. Corny moves and mediocre voices, so I was not blown away. L.A.Reid really liked it. Britney thought that they totally rocked. Demi loved the harmonies, and Simon did not get it. He thinks it's 10 years out of date. I'm with Simon Cowell on this one, but Citizen got 3 yeses anyway, so they're off to boot camp. Next was 13-year-old Diamond White, who lives in a shoebox apartment with her mom, and they have to share a bed, so she wants to make it so she can have her own bedroom. This girl was adorable, but when she came out on stage and her and Britney were talking to each other, I couldn't tell which one was talking. Diamond's little girl voice almost sounded like Britney's fake little girl voice. Anyway, Simon told her not to sing Adele, which seemed to be what she was getting ready to sing. Instead, she sang It's a Man's World. I personally would have rather heard her sing an Adele song than this tired old thing. She did a decent job. She obviously is a pretty good singer, but the Simon Cowell of yesteryear would have called this audition indulgent. I think she needs to take it down a notch or two until she really learns how to have better control of her voice, because it was a little bit all over the place. The judges loved it, though. She got 4 enthusiastic yeses. Next, we head back to Austin, Texas. I feel like I should be racking up frequent flyer miles just watching this show. The next audition is from 18-year-old Allie Brooke. Such a pretty girl. She had like 50 people backstage with her wearing Allie Brooke t-shirts. Allie wants to do everything. She wants to do film, she wants to do acting, singing, perfume. Whoa, 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 slow down there, Miss Ambition. Let's worry about making it through the audition before we set our sights on a perfume line. She sang a song called On My Knees. When she was singing, I get on my knees, I get on my knees, the look on Simon Cowell's face led me to believe that he was having inappropriate thoughts. Of course, it's not hard to think something inappropriate with a song called On My Knees. Sounds a little inappropriate, doesn't it? Even though it's a Christian song. I thought this started out rough. It sounded like more of a rehearsal than an audition. I can imagine her backstage with a guy playing the piano and she's trying to perfect her notes. It did get better as she went along, but then she wouldn't stop. And she ruined the last half of her audition by trying to show off. I found her very annoying by the time it was over. The judges loved it though. Demi in L.A. thinks that she has a special voice. Britney thinks she should be on Broadway because her voice has a theatrical dynamic, and that's not really a compliment for somebody that wants to be a pop star. And Simon thinks he's looking at a future star. What is he taking pointers from Louis Walsh now? It was 4 easy, breezy yeses for her. Next up is 16-year-old Brandon Hassan singing Trouble. I liked him better than the other guy that sang Trouble earlier, but I still hate that song. He got 4,329 yeses, according to Simon Cowell. Normani Hamilton sang Chain of Fools. Beautiful girl, but she loses points from me for a terrible song choice, but the judges loved her. Sister C is a group of 3 sisters that sang Hell on Heels, and it was really good, but I couldn't tell if they were trying to sound like the original or if their voices really sound like that, because if that's what they really sound like, then their voices could get annoying after a little while. Simon says that he's been looking for a group like them for years. Jeremiah and Josh are a duo that sang a song called Now Life Starts, and it totally sucked. I thought it was terrible. Britney loved it though. She wants them to wake her up in the morning singing. Next up was the highlight of the night for me, 42-year-old Panda Ross. Panda wore a necklace that says single so that Simon Cowell would know that his baby mama has arrived. She got the name Panda because when she was born, her mama was in jail with a white lady, and they wanted to name her after something that's both black and white. And I guess the possibilities are really kind of endless, aren't they? Oreos are black and white. Classic sitcoms are black and white. The Jackson family is black and white. But none of them are quite as adorable as the giant panda bear. So Panda it is. Panda had to bust out of the hospital to come to her audition because she had pneumonia. She was so much fun. I just knew she was going to be a terrible singer. But she sang Bring It On Home by Sam Cooke, and she brought it home. I freaking loved it. I'm not usually a fan of these old songs or voices that sound like to be perfect in church, but her voice is so deep and so nice. I could listen to her all day, which is actually what I've been doing. I cannot wait to see what she does next. The judges loved her too. L.A. said that he could not deny how good that was. Simon said she sounded like a legend, so it was 4 yeses for her. After her audition, though, she had to be hauled back to the hospital in an ambulance, and she did not want Simon to see her going back to the hospitals because then she thought maybe he'd think that she couldn't handle it. So anyway, now she can finish recovering from pneumonia, and since Demi had hugged Panda, Simon wanted to quarantine her so he wouldn't catch pneumonia. Don't seem to know a whole lot about pneumonia, does he? And the last of the night was 22-year-old Jessica Espinoza. She says that even though she looks well-fed, she knows what it's like to be hungry, because all that she eats is the dollar menu. She sang Pink's Nobody Knows, and it was really good in an unpolished kind of way. With the right song choices, she could do really well, but one bad song choice could totally derail her, because 60% of her appeal is that she sells herself well. You believe her when she sings, and she seems authentic, so I just wish she'd do something with that hair. That red and black hair reminds me of the old gimmicky hair that girls used to wear every season in the early seasons of American Idol. Every year at least one girl had that red and black hair in an attempt to look edgy. I like Jessica though, and the judges loved her. Britney loves her strong, deep voice. Demi thinks she has the X Factor. L.A. loves her emotion. And Simon didn't like it. He loved it. How many times is he going to fake people out doing that? So anyway, Panda was my favorite of the night with Jessica and Tate tied for number 2. What did you all think? Leave me a comment and let me know who you liked, and let me know if you think it was a better show. So ratings have not improved, but hopefully they will, because I thought it was a really good episode. So anyway, that's it for now. Subscribe to me on YouTube if you haven't already subscribed, and come be my Facebook friend, and I'll see you folks tomorrow.